The mysterious door in the moonlight. Leela and Ben had always loved bedtime stories, especially the ones about faraway lands and hidden magic. But they never imagined that one summer night, magic would find them. It all began when Leela spotted something strange outside her window, a soft, silvery glow coming from the old oak tree in the backyard. Ben, look, she whispered, shaking her little brother awake. The tree is sparkling. Rubbing his eyes, Ben peered outside and gasped. There, nestled between the gnarled roots of the oak, was a tiny door. Not just any door, this one was made of shimmering wood, carved with swirling stars and a crescent moon that glowed like real silver. Do you think it's real? Ben asked. His heart pounding with excitement. Only one way to find out, Leela said, slipping on her slippers. Together, they tiptoed downstairs, careful not to wake their parents, and crept into the moonlit yard. As they reached the tree, a gentle breeze swirled around them, carrying the scent of cinnamon and stardust. Leela reached out and touched the door. It hummed under her fingers, warm and alive. Then, before their eyes, the crescent moon symbol began to pulse with light. A voice, soft as a whisper but clear as a bell, floated through the air. Only the curious may enter. Only the brave may stay. Ben gulped. Should we open it? Leela took a deep breath. Together, with a shared nod, they turned the tiny golden knob and the door swung open, revealing not the other side of the tree, but a winding path of glowing stones leading into a world bathed in twilight. A world where the trees had ruby leaves, the rivers flowed with liquid starlight, and the sky was filled with two smiling moons. But before they could take a single step, a rustling came from the bushes behind them. A small furry creature with bright violet eyes and wings like a dragonfly's darted out, panting. Quick! You must help! It squeaked. The shadow sprites have stolen the moon key, and without it, the door will vanish by sunrise. Leela and Ben exchanged wide-eyed glances. They had just discovered a secret world, and already it needed their help. Part 2. The Whispering Woods and the Lost Key. Leela and Ben stared at the tiny winged creature, its violet eyes wide with urgency. What are you? Ben asked, crouching down. I'm Twig, the creature said, fluttering his dragonfly wings. I'm a glimmer folk, keeper of the moon door, and you two are the first humans to find it in 100 years. Leela's heart raced. Why did the shadow sprites take the moon key? Twig wrung his little paws. Without the key, the door will vanish. at sunrise and you'll be trapped here forever. Worse, the sprites want to drain the magic from our world. He pointed toward a dense forest where the trees swayed without wind, their leaves whispering secrets. They fled into the whispering woods. We must hurry. Without another thought, Leela and Ben stepped through the door. The moment they did, the air tingled against their skin like fizzy lemonade. The grass beneath their feet glowed faintly, and fireflies pulsed in colors they'd never seen: pink, blue, even gold. But the wonder faded as they entered the whispering woods. The trees leaned close, their branches knitting together like tangled fingers. "Stay close," Twig warned. The woods played tricks on travelers. No sooner had he spoken than the paths behind them vanished, swallowed by mist. A giggle echoed high and teasing, and a shadow darted between the trees. "Did you see that?" Ben whispered, gripping Leela's hand. Then a voice, soft and sly, slithered through the leaves. "Turn back, little ones, or be lost like the others." Leela squared her shoulders. "We are not turning back." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small flashlight, the one she always kept for adventures. When she clicked it on, the beam cut through the gloom like a sword, revealing a narrow trail. Twig gasped. "Starlight steel! Humans can craft such wonders." Ben grinned. "Just wait till you see what else we've got." As they pressed forward, the whispers grew louder, the shadows thicker. Then, deep in the woods, they spotted a flicker of movement near a gnarled tree with roots like a throne. There, dangling from a branch, was a key shaped like a crescent. Moon, its glow fading in and out like a heartbeat. But perched on the roots below it were three shadow sprites, small, smoky figures with glowing yellow eyes. One held the key, cackling as it pulsed weakly in his grip. "We have to get it back," Leela murmured. "But how?" Ben's eyes sparkled with an idea. "Twig, can glimmer folk do anything?" "Shiny!" Twig puffed out his chest. "Why, we can glow brighter than a firefly's birthday candle." "Perfect," Ben whispered. "Then here's the plan. Part 3. The Bridge of Riddles and the Giggle Fox." Ben's plan was simple. Twig would glow as bright as he could to distract the shadow sprites, while Leela and Ben snuck around to grab the moon key. But just as Twig took a deep breath and lit up like a tiny firework, the sprites hissed and vanished into puffs of smoke. The key clattered to the ground. Leela dove for it, but the moment her fingers brushed the metal, the whole forest seemed to shudder. The trees twisted, the paths melted away, and before they knew it, they stood at the edge of a wide, babbling river, one that hadn't been there a second ago. "Oh," Ben said, I think the woods didn't like that. A rickety rope bridge stretched across the river, swaying in the breeze. And sitting right in the middle of it was the strangest creature they'd ever seen. A fox with fur that shifted colors like a soap bubble, and a tail that curled into a question mark. It grinned, showing teeth that sparkled like polished marbles. "Oh ho!" the fox chirped. "Visitors, and just in time for my favorite game. Riddle me this." It stood on its hind legs and bowed. "I am the Giggle Fox, keeper of the Bridge of Whispers. Answer my riddle and cross." "Fail," it giggled. "Well, let's just say the river loves a good splash." Leela gulped. The water below didn't look like normal water. It swirled with colors, and tiny hands made of mist reached up as if waiting. Twig tugged her sleeve. "Don't worry, Giggle Foxes love tricks, but they play fair." Mostly, the fox cleared its throat and recited, "I dance on walls and slide on floors. I follow you through all the doors. I'm never seen in darkest night, but in the sun, I'm bold and bright. What am I?" Ben scratched his head. Leela bit her lip. Even Twig's glow flickered with thought. Then Ben's eyes lit up. "A shadow!" the Giggle Fox gasped. "Correct, but that was my easiest one." It stamped its paw, then burst into giggles. "Oh, fine. Cross, but next time I'll pick a harder riddle." As they hurried across the bridge, the wooden planks creaked ominously. Halfway across, the sprites reappeared, this time hovering above the water, their yellow eyes gleaming. "Give us the key," they crooned, "or the bridge disappears." Leela clutched the moon key tighter. "No way!" The sprites swirled together, forming a gust of wind that shook the ropes. The bridge swayed wildly, and then, with a terrible snap, the ropes began to unravel. "Run!" Twig squealed. They sprinted as the bridge collapsed behind them, planks tumbling into the hungry river. With one final leap, they landed on the far bank just as the last rope snapped. Panting, they turned to see the Giggle Fox sitting on a rock, clapping its paws. "What a show! Best bridge collapse in ages," it winked. "But don't relax yet, the sprites hate losing." And up ahead lies a maze of mirrors, where nothing is quite what it seems. Part 4. The maze of mirrors and the reflection trap, breathless from their escape. Leela, Ben, and Twig faced their next challenge, the maze of mirrors. Towering walls of silver glass stretched before them, twisting in impossible directions. Some mirrors showed their reflections exactly as they were, while others warped them into silly shapes. Ben's head ballooned like a pumpkin. Leela's legs stretched like taffy, and Twig's wings turned into flapping silvery stalks. "Whoa," Ben said, poking a mirror that turned his hand into a starfish. "This place is weird." Twig fluttered nervously. "The maze changes if you take your eyes off the path. And whatever you do, don't touch a reflection that moves on its own." Just then, Leela spotted something in a nearby mirror, a reflection of herself, but this one winked and held up a sign that read, "This way to the exit." Before darting out of view, "Did you see that?" Leela gasped. Ben grabbed her arm. Twig just said not to trust moving reflections, but the reflection reappeared, this time jumping up and down, pointing urgently to the right. It mouthed the words, "Hurry!" Twig's fur bristled. "It's a trick. The maze wants to too late." Leela stepped toward the mirror, and the glass rippled like water. With a yelp, she was pulled inside. "Leela!" Ben shouted, lunging after her, but the mirror turned solid again, leaving only his own panicked face staring back. Inside the mirror, Leela spun around. Everything was backward, even the words on Ben's shirt. In the reflection read Neb instead of Ben. Her mischievous reflection smirked. "Took you long enough. Now we just need your brother." It reached toward the glass, fingers stretching like taffy toward the real world. Outside, Ben's reflection suddenly grinned and its hand started reaching out too. "Ben, don't move!" Twig yelped. "They're trying to switch places with you." Ben froze. If his reflection escaped the mirror, he'd be trapped inside instead. But Leela was already stuck. Sinking fast, Ben yanked his water bottle from his backpack and hurled it at the mirror. Crash! The glass shattered, and Leela tumbled out in a shower of sparkles. The reflections shrieked and melted into puddles of silver goo. "Nice throw," Leela said, brushing glitter off her sleeves. Twig zoomed in circles. "That was too close." But look, the broken mirror showed us the real path. Behind the shattered glass was a hidden tunnel, leading straight through the maze. At the far end, a golden arch shimmered the exit. But as they sprinted toward it, the ground rumbled. The mirrors around them moved, sliding together to block the way. A chorus of giggling echoes filled the air. "You won't leave so easily," whispered 100 reflected voices. Ben grabbed Leela's hand. "Time for another plan." Part 5. The Shadow Sprite's last trick. The mirror walls closed in, leaving only a sliver of light from the golden arch. Leela, Ben, and Twig huddled together as the reflection's laughter grew louder. "We need to break the maze's spell," Twig said, his wings fluttering anxiously. "But how?" Ben suddenly grinned. "The reflections hate noise, real noise. Remember how they screamed when the mirror broke?" He rummaged through his backpack and pulled out a tin whistle from music class. "Let's give them a concert they'll never forget." Leela's eyes lit up. She grabbed 2 sticks and tapped them against the glass in a wild rhythm. Twig glowed as bright as he could, casting swirling shadows that danced with the beats. And Ben blew into the whistle with all his might, a sharp, piercing sound that made the mirrors shudder. The reflections screeched and clutched their ears. Cracks spider-webbed across the glass, and with a final crash, the maze exploded into a million glittering pieces. The kids tumbled out into a moonlit clearing where the shadow sprites waited, hissing like angry tea kettles. In the center hovered a swirling dark cloud, the source of their stolen magic, with the last flickers of the moon key's power being drained away. "You're too late," the lead sprite sneered. "The door is already fading." Leela tightened her grip on the key. It was now barely glowing, its warmth fading fast. But she noticed something. The sprites kept glancing nervously at Twig's light. "They're afraid of brightness," she whispered. Ben nodded. "Then let's light this place up." "On 3, Leela said. 1, 2, 3, they shouted together. Leela held the moon key high. Twig blazed like a tiny sun, and Ben blew the whistle. Right in the sprites' faces, light and sound collided. The dark cloud let out a wail and burst into harmless sparkles, and the sprites shrieked, dissolving into puffs of smoke. The moon key flared back to life, its glow spreading through the clearing like sunrise. The trees straightened, the rivers sparkled, and from far away, the golden arch shimmered, now a gateway home. Twig cheered. "You did it! The magic is saved!" But as they turned toward the arch, a deep rumble shook the ground. The biggest shadow sprite of all rose from the earth, its eyes burning like embers. "You may have won the battle," it growled, "but the door still vanishes at sunrise, and you'll never reach it in time." The sky was already turning pink at the edges. Leela grabbed Ben's hand. "Then we run." Part 6. The last rays of moonlight. Dawn's golden fingers stretched across the sky as Leela, Ben, and Twig raced through the enchanted world. The moon key pulsed in Leela's hand like a heartbeat, its glow growing fainter with every second. Behind them, the last shadow sprite howled, sending ripples of darkness through the trees, but the friends didn't look back. "We're almost there," Twig cried, darting ahead toward the shimmering outline of the moon door. But as they reached the old oak tree, their hearts sank. The door was barely visible now, its edges fading like mist in sunlight. Ben's voice cracked with panic. "It's disappearing!" Leela thrust the moon key toward the lock, but the door flickered, half there, half gone. "It's not enough," she gasped. "The key needs more magic." Twig hovered between them, his glow sputtering like a candle in the wind. Then his tiny face lit up with an idea. Maybe the magic isn't just in the key. Maybe it's in us, too. He placed his paws on their shoulders. Think of your bravest, happiest memory, the one that makes your heart feel sparkly. Ben squeezed his eyes shut and thought of building pillow forts with Leela. Leela remembered the time they chased fireflies until their pajamas were damp with dew. Together, they laughed and something miraculous happened. The moon key blazed to life, brighter than ever. Its light fused with twigs' glow, weaving a bridge of pure starlight between worlds. The door solidified, the lock clicked, and with one final push, they tumbled through just as the first rays of sunrise touched the grass. Whoosh! The magic door vanished behind them, leaving only the ordinary oak tree and the chirping of morning birds. Leela and Ben lay breathless on the dewy grass, their pajamas covered in glitter and leaves. Ben sat up slowly. Did we just? Leela uncurled her fingers. There, in her palm, lay a tiny silver acorn, its surface etched with a crescent. Moon Twig's voice echoed faintly in their minds. For the next adventure, plant me under the full moon. But only if you're ready, Ben grinned. Do you think Mom and Dad will believe us? Leela pocketed the acorn with a secret smile. Some magic is best kept between explorers, and as they crept back inside, the world felt just a little more wonderful because they knew now, more than ever, that bravery and kindness could unlock the most extraordinary doors of all.